Today, next step, they're going quickly as we are. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Digital Spotlight podcast. I'm your co host, Alexia Peralta, Director of E-Governance and Digitalization Unit. I'm a digital champion, but I'm also part of a creative, innovative, agile team that's trying to drive change in Belize. And I'm joined here today by.
Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie Ayuso Acosta. I've been serving this beautiful nation for the past 17 years in the field of education and the media. I'm very passionate about Belize and its betterment, just like you.
Right, so why we're here today, of course, we're here to engage on Belize's digital journey, but importantly, we're going to talk about how it's going to impact you. So, Stephanie, I don't know about you, but I feel very excited about starting this conversation. I think we've heard so much about it all the time, but maybe we don't talk enough about it. Especially, what is digital transformation? What does digital government mean? All these buzzwords. So, what do you think it means?
Well, it's all very exciting, and I'm sure a lot of people, like me, myself included, we would like to know exactly what this is about. And digital transformation, I would say it's including technology in the processes of the things that we do in business and the services that we carry out. That's what I think digital transformation is.
Yeah, and you're completely right. It's pretty much that. If you want to think about what sums it up, it's about just leveraging what we have today: tablets, phones, which we live with every day and just cannot live without.
Yes.
So how do we use these everyday tools now to kind of help us to become more efficient, more effective? And in the government's context, how do we deliver better services to citizens? And I think that's what we all want, right? As citizens, as Belizeans, we want to be able to engage with our government more, but we also want better services, better quality, and I think, utilizing technology is definitely going to get us there.
That is key, right? That is key because everybody wants that better service, and hearing that through this we would be able to accomplish that. Well, wow, I feel I'm already super excited about it. I have a question for you, Alexia. Why? Why digital transformation?
Honestly, I think it's just a natural progression of where we are today. If you think about it, technology is here. The transformation revolution is here. It's been here for many years, but maybe we just haven't been, great at utilizing and leveraging what really exists. So this is government now saying that we acknowledge, we recognize that we need to do better and that our citizens are demanding for us to do better. So why not leverage what everybody else is doing and help to transform ourselves to become more efficient, more effective, and of course be able to deliver better governance, which I think, again, everybody wants to see. I, as a Belizean, want to see that transformation.
Yes, that's so true. Better governance is what we want to see, and hearing that this is going to enable that to happen, it's just a process that we should all be looking forward to.
And I think it's a process that we should all be willing to engage to. Because, digital transformation, digital government, while you have the government in there, government is not the only person that's responsible to really achieve this transformation. It involves all of us. It requires all of our collective action. It requires partnering NGOs, the private sector, but even the citizens. If we don't understand what your need is, then how can we design things that work best for you? So it really requires us to have a different approach to how we do things as a country and how do we partner with each other.
So this that's happening is something that's involving the people of Belize, the general population, and getting their feedback on what it is that they would need?
Oh, most definitely. Like I said, it's a different approach. I can design an app for you, but if it doesn't work for you, then will you really use it? You won't. So it's important for us to be able to understand what citizens want, what they need, and what's their reality. what type of phones do you have? We can't assume everybody has a smartphone. Some might just be able to call from their phones. Some might not have tablets. And that's the reality that we live in, So unless we start to create products, projects, policies that kind of reflect that reality of Belize, and it's going to be very difficult to move forward and create that transformation. So people, I will say, the center of what we're trying to do here and what we're trying to achieve.
Wow. So basically, it's the unit that you're in charge of. You all are in charge of this. You all are taking the lead with this. Right? Taking the lead with this.
Yeah, I definitely like to.
It does not sound like a small task. It doesn't.
No, definitely. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be overnight. But I'm confident that with partnerships and engagement with the people that will be able to drive it. And yeah, I totally like to joke around about it with my colleagues and be like, we're only the architects. We're here to guide. We're here to say, maybe let's think about it a different way. But we're not the only executors of it. It involves many other people. But who best to hear more from and how we got here than, from my minister, Minister Michelle Shabat, who is the Minister of Public Utilities, Energy, Logistics, and E-Governance. So stay tuned with us so you can hear a little bit more of our journey, how we got here, and where we're going. Minister, how are you? Come join me. I wanted to pull you in so we could have a conversation on what do you think digital transformation means to the people, how it's going to impact them, and really and truly, why are we doing this? Why is it so important for us as an administration, as a government, as a country to have taken this step?
Great question, and forgive me for using the word, but indeed it is transformational. It is transformational from several points of view, certainly from the government point of view. It's transformational in the way we will start to do business, in the way we're going to be able to provide access to our citizens. As you know, Ms. Peralta, part of this whole agenda is really to get all of our ministries at the same level, so that if you go to one ministry or you go to the other ministry, the level of service you're going to get will be at the same par. And I think that is important. It is important because as a government, we need to be more effective and we need to be more efficient in the services we provide to our citizens. And we also need to recognize the impact that this pandemic had on us, and the importance of doing business differently than we have traditionally done. And so I think from that perspective, it is important. It also brings us closer to the world, so to speak. If through this digital transformation, we can increase commerce, we can increase relationships with other countries, then that is part of this transition as well. But I think...
And even communication to our people.
Communication, yes. And I think from the citizens' point of view, I think being able to be in Punta Gorda or in San Ignacio or in Corozal, and from a computer terminal or from your smartphone, being able to access some of the services that they would traditionally have to travel to the city or travel to Belmopan for, to me is transformational, and it enhances the lives of our citizens. It means less cost to them. It means less time in moving around trying to obtain these services. So truly, again, I come back to where I started. It is truly transformational in its scope.
So further highlight the level of commitment that we've displayed since the beginning of this transformation process, Minister. I want to lean in now on your legal expertise and background to really help us to understand one of the biggest commitments that I think as a government we've done, which is to modernize our legal framework and to ensure that we have one of the most modern, updated legal frameworks across the region.
I think this transformation, this agenda really started in 2021 with the launching of our national digital agenda, which kind of set the panorama for where we want to go. And I think critical to that is the government's commitment to this process. And I think that that is evident in the fact that we've taken the step to embed in our legislation this agenda, so to speak. If you allow me to characterize it this way, I see this as the umbrella legislation. This is from this everything else will flow. It sets out a lot of the parameters we need for our ministries, the guidelines that they need to get up to speed, and to make sure, like I said earlier, that we're all operating at the same level. It sets out the requirements of our citizens. One of the things that stands out to me is the one-time only principle. Did I get that correct?
Yes,
The once only principle. Once only principle. And I think that is critical because as you move from department to department, you move from Social Security Board to Immigration Department, to whichever department you're dealing with, everybody requires you to bring your birth certificate, your marriage certificate,
the same information
over and over again.
Right.
And so that is critical because what this legislation does is it allows for ministries to communicate, it allows for ministries to share data, and that's critical. That is important.
And that reduces the burden on
the citizen.
Because
Absolutely.
no, we don't have to carry all of these papers with us every time we need a
Multiple
service.
submissions. And I think it is important for our citizens to understand we also have a Data Protection Act,
Correct.
which is critical to all of these concerns. And so I pause to say that we have looked at this in a wholesome manner and we've tried to build into our legislation all the necessary safeguards to ensure, to give the citizens the confidence that in joining us on this journey, it is a journey.
It is a journey, yes.
By
indeed.
partnering with us on this journey, that they can be assured that their information, their data will be safeguarded and will not be misused by anyone. So I think the Data Protection Act is important. The Electronic Transactions Act, which is important as well, and we have a couple other that kind of bring together this whole digital agenda platform. And I think it is important for citizens to understand what it is that the law provides for. So these are important steps, Ms. Peralta.
So, Minister, it's been great having this conversation with you. Definitely enlightening, informative, but a vibrant conversation in trying to ensure that we're communicating effectively,
Correct.
as you identified.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
thank you for joining us, and we do look forward to having you more and having these conversations more as we move forward in keeping our citizens informed.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
So, thank you to my Minister Shabat, for taking the time out to engage with us and share a little bit more about our journey and how we got here. And as you can see, the transformation journey has been ongoing. So much has happened, and fundamentally it's just about trying to make that change and make life easier for our citizens.
Right, very enlightening sharing by the minister right there. And this whole transformation process that we're hearing about, and we're definitely excited about it. But what are some of the steps that have been taken so far to get us along the road?
Well, definitely like what my minister highlighted, trying to set that enabling environment, which really means what are the conditions that need to be in place so that can occur. And one of them was taking a big step in modernizing our legislation, trying to create all that reform, and now becoming a digital leader in legal reforms in the region, which as citizens we should be proud of to know we're leading the charge in the region. So it's been a lot.
So you're telling me that this has already happened, yes?
Yes. So
Wow.
we've done so much changes in the 1 year period in making sure that the legal system works for us, but it's also there to ensure that we're protected while we're going online. Because going online is great. It comes with many opportunities, but it also has its challenges and its risks. And that's, something that we also have to consider.
Right, so that legal framework is going to help us Belizeans, trust this whole transformation that we're we're jumping into, because that's a big deal for us. We want to be able to trust it. Yes.
Definitely. I think in any transformation process, if we don't trust each other and we don't trust what we're putting in place to make sure we're all safe, it's going to be very difficult to go along, because transformation is about people. It's not about the technology. I know we tend to think it's about the technology. It's really not. It's about transformation, and how do we support people to really take on this new culture, this new change, and embrace that culture openly, which sometimes can be very difficult when you're trying to create a new environment.
All right, so that's one of the things that has already been done, that the legal framework, and where there's still more to do in that area, right?
Definitely, it's never ending. Technology evolves so rapidly.
True.
And unfortunately, our legal framework takes a little bit longer to catch up with technology. So there's always going to be need for changes. But besides the legal work, as you heard, we've been working a lot in trying to ensure that we're also breaking down some of the barriers and challenges that come along with digital transformation. One of them being the digital divide, ensuring that we're not leaving no one behind in this transformation process, that we're not further creating that marginalization and that bias that happens when we think about technology. How can we ensure that everyone benefits from this change? Not just kids, the elderly, the youths, the women, those in rural areas. How can everybody be part of the transformation? I think that's key for us.
Well, it's with small steps that we need to begin, right? It's with small steps that we
Exactly.
need to begin, and we've started. We've taken the first steps, and I want to commend the unit for all that you guys have done. Now, as a Belizean, and I know all of us out here, we would like to know how specifically, what different areas in our lives are going to be impacted with this?
Well, I think first off, definitely we're gonna see better improvement and access to services. As we know, it's been difficult over the years for Belizeans to be able to access certain services which are critical for our day-to-day. So, focusing on how can we transform those respective ministries and units so that we can deliver better service. Just recently, for example, we launched an improved temporary workers permit system that even now allows for online payments using your mobile phone. So imagine that no longer having to stand in a line to make payments and to access a service. I think that is the number one way that citizens are going to benefit.
And you did mention also about the different ministries and the services that's provided by these ministries. It pleases me to hear that this unit is working toward the improvement, and that it's something that goes across the different ministries, right?
Yes, this transformation process, it's not just about my unit, but it's actually how do we transform, how as a government we are taking this collective approach to provide better services, but taking that whole of scale approach to try to be better and to also provide better services and be more effective.
Improving government services, well, that definitely does sound like something we all
Something we've all waited for, right?
Right.
Right.
Well, at this point now, we're going to show you all a little video, and I invite you all to tune in.
Hi everyone, I'm Alexa Peralta, the Director of the E-Governance and Digitalization Unit, and I'm here to tell you about Belize's first National Digital Agenda 2022-2025, Towards a Digital Belize. The National Digital Agenda represents our collective vision to transform our country into a digital nation. It is an integrated transformation and modernization plan for the next 4 years to address key areas from digital infrastructure and connectivity to inclusion, open government, innovation, and cybersecurity. It is our unified vision to build trust in government services by providing reliable, inclusive, safe, and efficient digital solutions for citizens, businesses, and employees. This plan of action will enable the government to enter a period of rapid and disruptive transformation to improve service delivery, strengthen governance, and create public value. The digital agenda aims to achieve three high-level strategic goals. 1. Transforming the way government operates. 2. Developing a digital culture in society. And 3. Building the foundation for future digital transformation. How will we achieve this? The digital agenda is built on three main pillars. 1. ICT and technology enablers. 2. Digital government. And 3. Digitalization for recovery. These pillars have a set of programs for the next 4 years, which will contribute to achieve the three high-level strategic goals. Under the ICT and technology enablers pillar, we will focus on expanding connectivity in Belize, improving digital infrastructure, implementing an e-services portal, strengthening national data centers, and driving digital inclusion. Under the digital government pillar, we will focus on improving the regulatory environment, simplifying services, implementing a national identity, digitalizing the civil registry, developing open government platforms, implementing the cybersecurity strategy, and building capacity. Under the digitalization for recovery pillar, we will focus on improving digital literacy for all, implementing the national innovation strategy, supporting business innovation, achieving teleeducation and digital health, and supporting the transformation of the tourism and agriculture sector. The National Digital Agenda is an actionable plan to bring forth a more citizen-centric government and create public value. It is dependent on a strong partnership and collaboration amongst government, citizens, development partners, and industry, all working together to deliver the plan's vision. Together, we will achieve the country's transformation. So I'm glad you're back with us again, and I hope you enjoyed learning more about the National Digital Agenda, which is our 4-year ambitious roadmap to how we're going to transform Belize into that digital nation that we all want to see, and of course, build that trust in government services through various programs. So, Steph, we've come to the end of today's podcast, and I think we've spoken about so much stuff. You know, what is digital transformation? Yeah, but what do you think from everything that we've discussed today? What kind of pulls at you?
Well, you know what? The excitement is the first thing that I'm feeling right now, and I'm feeling like everybody's probably thinking along those lines, because it's a nice plan. It's a nice plan that you guys have presented, and you've started working on it as well. I'm really pleased to see all the amazing things that you guys have already done to get us there, and I know that the road ahead, well, it's going to involve all of us. It's going to involve more work,
Right.
more effort, but looking at how things are being handled, you guys, the unit, and this government, I'm pretty sure that we'll get there. It's not just about the technological devices that we're bringing into our different services, but it's a lot about the people involved. Yes?
Definitely, transformation requires focusing on people, but also having the right strategy, which, as we learned, is the digital agenda, but also having the leadership, the vision, the partnership, and of course, the culture. If we all collectively embrace this change, embrace this culture, and really see that we want to move forward, that's how we're gonna achieve it together. So definitely, but also what's part of it is creating that education, that awareness, and helping everybody in the society to really understand how we're going to do this. So we invite you to join us over the next couple of weeks to learn more, to share your ideas, but to also engage with us. We want to know what's your needs, how we can help you, but also how you can be part of the conversation as we together move to creating that change in Belize.
Well, next week I'll definitely be tuning in to you guys, and I'll be joining you all on set in a couple of weeks.
Definitely, you can join us by following the e-governance and digitalization unit Facebook page, where we'll be streaming every Wednesday over a couple of weeks. So stay tuned. I think it's gonna be great topics we're really gonna deep dive into, and we're gonna be joined by a new co-host, Mr. Erwin Wills. And next week specifically, we're gonna deep dive on digital divide and how do we prevent leaving no one behind. So thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye, stay tuned.
Thank you and good night.
It is a wonder I get through at all. Doing government business, big or small. The lines are long, I'm waiting there. The process is a nightmare. So the government is making changes, so it's easier with online forms going paperless to handle your requests. And this is gonna change the way it is, a modern way to change the way we live, upgrading all the systems we have to make your life better. Better cyber security and even better connectivity. The promotion of the transformation to the future for me, making a digital Belize in the always changing industry technologies. But we see progress in all the communities. We need the digital spotlight to want a digital Belize.